Sony has no idea what they're doing, or maybe they do and it's just really weird. Whatever the case, it's bad. It's really bad. The Sony Pictures universe of Marvel characters is awful, and I would say it's at the point of no return. But what if it wasn't? What if Sony was able to successfully make a Spider-Man cinematic universe without the character of Spider-Man? I think a Spider-Man cinematic universe would be very interesting, and it definitely has the potential to work. The problems come when you're not allowed to use the character of Spider-Man at all in the universe, and you're competing with another connected universe of Marvel characters. That includes Spider-Man. I think if the MCU never existed, or still didn't have the rights to the webhead, a Spider-Man cinematic universe with Peter Parker at the forefront could really work and flourish. But that's not the situation we're in. Today, I'm going to put together a plan for how Sony should have gone with their Spider-Man universe, consisting of 9 films in total. We're going to be starting completely from scratch, so no Venom movies, no Morbius, no Kraven, no Madam Web, and unfortunately, no El Muerto. This is Sony's Spider-Man universe. Done right. You need a Spider-Man at the forefront if you're going to do a Spider-Man cinematic universe, and if you can't use Peter, the obvious choice is to go to the next best option. The first film in the Spider-Man universe would be Spider-Man Miles Morales. Miles Morales is the obvious choice for the Spider-Man of this universe, and he would kind of be the main character of the entire thing. This film would follow Miles Morales, a 15-year-old kid from Brooklyn, New York, who was bitten by a radioactive spider shortly after the death of the original Spider-Man, Peter Parker. Peter would be dead in this universe, since I think that's the easiest way to explain his absence while also using all of these characters. Miles would have to learn to use his new powers without the guidance of Peter as his mentor. We would also just feel the weight of Peter's death in this movie, as essentially the entire population of New York is mourning. This movie would basically be Into the Spider-Verse meets the Miles Morales video game. While investigating the Mexican mob boss Maximus Gargan, also known as the Scorpion, Miles comes across the Prowler, who acts as a very street-level villain for him. Miles eventually learns that the Prowler is his uncle and role model, Aaron Davis, who is secretly working for the Roxxon Energy Corporation. Miles is absolutely devastated by this revelation, but he gets past it to face off against the Prowler. Like Into the Spider-Verse, Miles visits Aunt May and uses one of Peter's old suits to make himself his new costume. Miles then goes after Prowler, who tells him about Roxxon's plan to rip a hole in the multiverse so that they can drain energy from other realities into their own. Spider-Man and Prowler team up to stop Simon Krieger, the CEO of Roxxon, and Miles learns that Roxxon was the company who created the radioactive spider that bit him, which was a genetic clone of the one that bit Peter. Spider-Man and Prowler stop Simon Krieger, but Prowler dies in the process, and Miles mourns his uncle's death. In the mid-credit scene, we see that the machine Roxxon used to try and rip a hole through space-time sent a signal to somewhere or someone in the multiverse. Next, we have Venom Lethal Protector. This would follow Eddie Brock as Venom, who is motivated by Peter Parker's death at the hands of the Green Goblin to become better and protect the people of New York City instead of harming them. Eddie is dating police captain Jean DeWolf, and after she is mysteriously killed, Venom goes after the killer. The killer is revealed to be Stanley Carter, the Sin Eater, who Eddie was investigating before he was fired from the Daily Bugle and became Venom. Venom faces off against Sin Eater and eventually kills him. Somewhere in the film, we would get a cameo from Miles Morales. In the mid-credit scene, we see Venom's offspring merging with serial killer Cletus Cassidy. The third movie in the Spider-Man universe would be Black Cat. This would be a heist movie following Felicia Hardy attempting to rob the crime boss Lonnie Lincoln, also known as Tombstone, and ruin his life as revenge for him killing her father. Black Cat teams up with Silver Sable and the Shocker to pull off her heist, promising them a cut of the money if they follow through. Towards the end of the movie, it's revealed that Shocker was working with Tombstone the entire time, and he turns against Black Cat and Silver Sable. They both defeat Shocker and pull off the heist, and the movie ends with Tombstone and Shocker being sent to prison, Silver Sable returning to Symkaria, and Felicia learning about the new Spider-Man. There is no mid-credit scene. Next up, we have a pretty surprising one. The Lizard. We learn that Dr. Kurt Connors' lizard condition was never cured 100%, and Peter had to come by and give him doses of an antidote every once in a while. Kurt never truly learned how the antidote was made, and now that Peter's dead, his condition is getting worse and he's starting to frequently turn into the lizard. Kurt flees from his family to keep them safe and sets up a lab in the Florida Everglades, where he works on trying to recreate the antidote before it's too late. While experimenting, Kurt runs a test on an iguana, which turns it into a human-sized monster. The lizard fights the iguana in the Everglades and tries to prevent him from being unleashed into civilization. This would kind of be like a horror film in the vein of Jekyll and Hyde. In the end, Kurt stops the iguana and is able to create an antidote and return to his family. Like Black Cat, this movie has no mid-credit scene. Yep, this universe would have a Kraven movie too. Kraven the Last Hunt would be similar to Kraven's story in the Spider-Man 2 video game. In Africa, Kraven hears about Peter's death and feels like he failed, never getting the chance to defeat his ultimate prey. After being diagnosed with terminal cancer, Kraven returns to New York on the ultimate final hunt to try and prove himself that he didn't fail. Kraven hunts down and kills Rhino, Grizzly, and Beetle. Kraven is eventually overjoyed to learn about the new Spider-Man, who is his new ultimate prey. Miles unsuccessfully tries to stop Kraven from killing all the villains, and in a final fight, Kraven beats the shit out of Miles, almost killing him. Miles eventually gets the upper edge and is begged by Kraven to kill him, since all he wants is to die in battle and not on a hospital bed. Miles refuses, but Venom comes out of absolutely nowhere and kills Kraven, giving him what he wanted. Venom says he heard about what was going on and came to help Miles, but he then says that the real reason he came was because he needed Miles' help. Kraven's half-brother Chameleon would also play a big part in the movie somehow. In the mid-credit scene, we see Cletus Cassidy, who has now fully become Carnage, abducting citizens of New York and turning them into his symbiote slaves. Next up, we have the sequel to Venom, Venom Maximum Carnage. We pick up right where we left off in Kraven with Venom telling Miles that he needs his help stopping Carnage, who has been abducting citizens of New York and turning them into his symbiote slaves. One of the symbiotes that Carnage creates is somehow not affected by his mind control and joins Spider-Man and Venom's side in the fight against Carnage. He is revealed to be Patrick Mulligan, aka Toxin. Spider-Man, Venom, Toxin, and Black Cat, who joins in about halfway through the movie, team up to take down the symbiote invasion throughout the city. It would basically be a zombie apocalypse movie. In the final fight against Carnage, Black Cat dies and Venom kills Cletus Cassidy, ending the invasion and setting everyone free. In the mid-credit scene, we are introduced to Dr. Otto Octavius, who looks over Roxxon's multiversal machine from Spider-Man Miles Morales on a security monitor and says that Carnage's symbiote invasion was the least of their universe's worries. The seventh movie of the Spider-Man universe would be Sinister Six. Dr. Octopus would be the main character of this movie, who tries to bring the Sinister Six back together to steal Roxxon's multiversal machine. This film would mainly just follow Doc Ock recruiting the Sinister Six. He breaks Electro and Hobgoblin out of Ravencroft, finds Hydro Man working on an oil rig in the middle of the ocean, fights Mysterio within one of his illusions, and just knocks on Vulture's door asking him to join. He says yes. In the climax, the Sinister Six attempt to steal the multiversal machine, but Miles Morales arrives and tries to stop them in a final fight. Doc Ock explains that they were doing all of this to destroy the machine and save Miles, since their universe, which is designated 1610, had a special barrier around it that somehow kept a multiverse traveling enemy out. It's too late when the machine powers on and rips a hole through space-time, breaking the barrier around Earth 1610, allowing one of the inheritors to come through and go after Miles. Doc Ock and the Sinister Six protect Miles, but the inheritor kills all of them, and then retreats out of the universe. In the mid-credit scene, we hear a man talking to a girl in a dark bunker. The man says that the barrier has been broken and the inheritors are coming. The man is revealed to be Ezekiel Sims, and the girl he's talking to is revealed to be Cindy Moon. The penultimate movie of Sony's Spider-Man universe is Silk. This movie would reveal that the spider that bit Peter Parker went on to bite one of his classmates too, Cindy Moon. Cindy was captured by a man named Ezekiel Sims, who trapped her in a bunker, claiming to be protecting her from a group known as the Inheritors. We would use this film to learn all about the Inheritors, who are led by Morlun and are a group of multiversal vampires, whose goal is to hunt down the spider totems of each universe and kill them. Cindy escapes from Ezekiel Sims and meets Miles Morales. She becomes Silk and teams up with Miles to stop Ezekiel from trying to capture her again. In the end of the movie, Morlun and the Inheritors arrive on Earth 1610 and kill Ezekiel Sims. Before Morlun can kill Miles and Cindy, they are whisked away to a pocket dimension by Madam Web and greeted by an entire army of spider people. This movie would have no mid-credit scene. The final movie in the Spider-Man universe would be Spider-Geddon, which would just be a live-action Spider-Verse movie. Miles and a few other Spider-Man variants travel all across the Spider-Verse, recruiting spider people to fight Morlun and the Inheritors. In the end, Miles is about to be killed by Morlun, when all of a sudden, everything around them seems to crumble apart, and out of nowhere, Miles is sent to Battleworld. That's right, this would all connect to the MCU, and Miles, along with all the other Sony Spider-Man universe characters, would appear in Avengers Secret Wars. By the end of Secret Wars, the universes converge, and that's how Miles Morales is introduced to the MCU. And that's how I think Sony should have done their Spider-Man universe. I know it all got crazy and muddled up at the end there, but this is just a baseline idea. I also wanted to let you guys know that with the rebrand comes a new era of this channel. I will no longer be focusing on only Marvel and DC, and I will now cover media as a whole and just make whatever videos make me happy. Maybe I'll do some videos that aren't even about movies or shows at all. Who knows? Anyways, I want to know what you guys want to see from this new era of the channel. So let me know in the comments what videos y'all would like to see. Peace out.